Municipal Council roles and responsibilities. What is the Municipal Government Act, or MGA? The MGA gives municipalities and their councils the legal framework or authority needed to create bylaws, determine and deliver programs and services for the residents, guide governance structure, hold elections, and more. It ensures accountability to taxpayers for the money, assets, and their needs and interests. What is the purpose of council? The council makes decisions on policies, services, and programs for the residents of the municipality who elected them. Role of council. Council and the Chief Administrative Officer, or CAO, work collaboratively. The council as a whole makes decisions to approve budgets, adopt policies, approve bylaws, approve contracts and agreements. They manage and direct the CAO, the only employee that they manage and direct. They decide on service types, so the type and levels of services, planning, recreation, sidewalks, and much more. They also deal with the public, residents, taxpayers, and stakeholders to engage and advocate on their behalf as representatives that are elected. They work with committees. Committees provide advice that consider items in more detail to focus and to simplify council's deliberations. They have no independent authority. Council always provides good governance, stewardship of public assets. They offer public participation. They look after the overall view of services and facilities, and they provide a safe and viable community. Council creates policy to direct management, such as a human resource policy, a procurement policy, or a bylaw, election policies or bylaw, finance, and more. They adopt bylaws to regulate the municipality. There are different types of bylaws. Some are mandatory because of the MGA. Some are administrative, enforcement, and services related. It's important to note that the procedural bylaw outlines a municipality's process to conduct meetings, meeting notice, and create committees. The council approves programs for residents and business. Programs such as recreational programs, Black Fly program, environmental programs, energy programs such as Switch, and many others. Council's responsibilities are outlined in Section 86 of the Municipal Government Act. Under administration, it's very important to note the council as a whole makes decisions. They pass mandatory and discretionary bylaws. They hire and direct the CAO. They provide a safe and respectful workplace. They appoint committees based on procedural bylaw. They approve minutes, policies, and services. Financially, they approve the budget and they set the property tax rate based on that budget. They review and approve an asset management plan. They review and approve 25,000 and higher procurement purchases. Examples of municipal bylaws. There are enforcement bylaws, service bylaws, and administrative bylaws. Some are discretionary and some are mandatory. Some discretionary ones are noise and nuisance, dangerous and unsightly properties, animal control, cosmetic pesticides, firearms, and then more of the mandatory ones are under administrative, such as procedural bylaw, election bylaw, code of conduct, conflict of interest, procurement, remuneration, if you provide remuneration, access to information and record retention. And then depending if you're doing borrowing or a reserve fund, then they would require a bylaw as well. Under services, water and sewer, if you provide those services, require a bylaw. Fire department, emergency measures is a required bylaw that should already be in place. And planning is a bylaw, official plan and bylaw that needs to be in place by December 31st of 2023. The mayor's role is outlined in Section 89 of the MGA. And basically the mayor's role is to conduct the meeting, and they only vote to break a tie. The mayor is the spokesperson for council at public functions unless they decide to delegate it to someone else. They are the signing authority as well as the CAO. The one role that they do is they appoint the deputy mayor. The Chief Administrative Officer, or CAO, is outlined in Section 93. They are the signing authority along with the mayor for the municipality, unless they've designated it to someone else. They liaison with the public, stakeholders, staff, and external contractors. The Chief Administrative Officer is in charge of operations. Anything administrative, such as office setup, minutes, financials, contracts, payroll, that's all administrative and operational. Staffing, hiring, reviews, direction. They usually create, implement, and record bylaws and policies. From a legal obligations point of view, they should know the MGA, the Planning Act, Water and Sewage Act, and other regulations that apply to their municipality. They manage the delivery of services and programs. They assist and/or they create financial plans, audits, funding, proposals, and more. The role of the Chief Administrative Officer, as outlined in this graphic. Key is the collaborative communication between all bodies. So the CAO with council, council to the CAO, and then the committees as well. The CAO deals with the public, they deal with staff, and they deal with external contracts and employees. The CAO is responsible for implementing council decisions. They manage all work and operations of the municipality. They hire and manage and dismiss all staff. They create and prepare bylaws, policies, and resolutions for council. They follow all the duties under the MGA and all duties delegated by council. They are in charge of the operations such as programs and services offered by the municipality. Section 92 of the MGA makes it very clear that mayor and council are not employees. Just don't do it for so many reasons. The employee reports to the CAO, and there are risks. That's the basics of the roles and responsibility of council. Other helpful MGA items that involve council include code of conduct, conflict of interest, and other provincial acts and regulations that council must follow. Once elected, you're required to file a public disclosure statement with your CAO within 30 days of being elected. This should be updated every year by November 30th. It's not required to post the disclosure statements online, but some municipalities decide to do that. The disclosure statement includes the name and nature of your employment, your financial interests, not the salary or the value of holdings, just from a point of conflict of interest, a listing of your financial interests, and other involvement that may be seen to affect fairness in making a municipal decision. It's very important to note that confidential information should not be disclosed or released unless required or authorized by a policy or a bylaw. You should not use confidential information for gain, yours or others, and you should not try to access confidential information in the custody of a municipality unless authorized by policy or bylaw. Confidential information includes land until it's made public, legal, and human resources. The use of municipal property, equipment, and services. There's no special privileges for being on council. Same rules as everyone else. If the public can use it, then so can you. Respectful workplace. There's new regulations for new workplace harassment regulations, and it's a duty to treat members of the public, one another, and staff appropriately and without abuse, bullying, or intimidation, and to ensure the work environment is free from discrimination and harassment. Planning or procurement proposals before council. To prevent conflict of interest, Don't solicit or accept support in any form from an individual, group, or corporation with any planning or procurement proposal before council. Examples of conflict of interest: land transactions, development close to yours or your family's property, family members selling land to the municipality, contract awards, lawsuits, bylaw impact, an enforcement bylaw that benefits you, your family, or your friends. Indirect, a client of yours, engineer, accountant, benefits from a decision made at council. Honorarium or grant, you, your family, receiving honorariums or grants from the municipalities. There are some exceptions that apply, and they're outlined on page 54 of the MGA. Here's a checklist to avoid improper conduct. Ask yourself, if I say that, will I need to apologize? What would my mother say about my behavior? Will an enforcement officer knock on my door? Good manners and decorum are required as a counselor. Disclosure of conflicts makes things fair. Respectful behavior has everybody happy. You need to follow the acts and regulations just like everybody else. You have to follow your municipality's procedural and conduct bylaws. You're required to remain objective and without undue influence. You need to refrain from making negative public statements attacking the municipality, staff, or fellow councillors. Thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Municipal Affairs team at 902-620-3558, or you can email municipalaffairs@gov.pe.ca. Sign up for our newsletter to get more information about municipal government. You can follow us on YouTube for helpful videos, and you can follow us on Twitter at PEI Muni Affairs.